Limerick manager Maurice Horan had to plan for this game without Stephen Lucy and Mark O'Riordan, who opted to play for the hurlers for this qualifier against Offaly at the Athletic Grounds. But despite this, they started promisingly, with Ger Collins from a narrow angle finally opening the scoring after some 4 minutes. Full forward Seamus O'Carroll might have made the Offaly task even more difficult, but Offaly half forward Niall Darby averted the danger with his knee just moments later. Ken Casey then opened Offaly's account, and when captain Niall McNamee put his side in front, it looked like the Midlanders had finally found their rhythm. But this only served to strengthen Limerick's resolve. The fast ball in was causing all sorts of problems. And Ian Ryan, despite losing control as he drove along the line, had the presence and skill to volley to the net. Ryan showing great footballing ability with his side's opening goal. Two minutes later, and Limerick found a way through the Offaly defence yet again. Ryan was centrally involved, and his deft pass to Seamus O'Carroll gave the full forward a very simple task indeed. Offaly defence all at sea at this point in the game. 8 points down. After 18 minutes, Offaly revival then began, and Bernard Allen with this simple point showed the way how to do it. While Niall Darby, who had been guilty of several bad wides, finally found his range as Offaly trailed by 3 points at the break, 2-5 to 8 points. Still a long way back for the Midlanders. The second half saw the sides trade points with the boot of Kieran McManus, who scored 6 in total, keeping Offaly in touch, but just about. While Limerick's third goal in the 63rd minute destroyed any hopes of an Offaly comeback. Seamus Kelly with a pass to Collins, who then slipped the ball under the onrushing Alan Mulhall. And fittingly, Ian Ryan, who had a personal tally of 1 goal and 7 points, completed the scoring as Limerick advanced to the next round, leaving Offaly with much to ponder. 3-13 to 15 points the final score in Limerick.
You know, we got scores at vital stages to keep us in the game. They looked like they were going to, I suppose, overrun us at times, and but we kept coming up with vital scores. And you know, it was a very satisfying performance, especially we were coming off the back of the Kerry game, and you know, we needed that badly.
I'm very proud of the lads. They worked very hard. They tried their all. We let in 2 goals early on. The first one I thought that was a bit lucky for them. We lost possession and just pulled on a ball and ended up in the net. The second one was well taken, and we kicked too many wides then. We kicked balls when we were under a lot of pressure, and you know, we should have took more responsibility.
A tweet, of course, that was heard right around the nation as it turned out. Now, he hit 345s against Tipperary. This is right on the 45-metre line. It should be well within his range. Taken down under the crossbar by Shane Connolly and cleared to the for Kildare, which they haven't made use of. Gifted away to Laois once more. We're well into the 7th minute and still no score here at O'Moore Park. Pádraig Clancy. Loose player is John O'Loughlin. He is a man outside roaring for it. Donny Kingston takes aim. The roar of the crowd will tell you all you need to know. Laois are out in front, thanks to that trusty right boot of Donny Kingston. 7 minutes gone.
Super finish by Donny Kingston, but again, it all comes to the work rate from the middle third of the park from the Laois players. They don't seem to have set quickly.
Breaking ball won by Pádraig McMahon, and he's picked out Ross Munnelly, who's making runs time and again out from the edge of the square. Munnelly's caught that really well. Fine score from Ross Munnelly off his weaker right foot. Laois go 2 points in half team. Fionn Dowling, good hands. O'Connor is the only man to aim at inside. Gets up above Meany. Chance for Kildare. Down goes Orno Flaherty, and it's a penalty. David Coldrick, championship, and the man that Kildare supporters would like to see surely taking a penalty. Against him, Owen Culleton. Textbook penalty from Johnny Doyle. Culleton beaten for just a 2nd time in the championship. And however they've managed it, after 15 minutes, Kildare are in front.
You wouldn't believe it'll take 15 minutes for Kildare to get a score in this game, but cool as a cucumber, Johnny Doyle, you put your house on him to finish from there, and hopefully now that's going to give Kildare some sort of a footing in terms of going forward.
In the championship so far. This kick about 50 metres out. And he was kicking into that slight breeze, and So Donny Kingston looking for his second point of the match. Interestingly, electing to kick from the hands, and a good decision. Doyle, quick look up to spot what's on. The run of Tomás O'Connor was covered, so Kildare builds slowly. Pádraig O'Neill now looking for O'Connor. Meany jumping with him. Good hands from the big full forward. He's bearing down on goal, and he's got it. Tomás O'Connor, with one swing of that right boot, has fired in Kildare's second goal of what's turning out to be a pretty incredible first half.
Oh, that is unbelievable, and a great finish to Moscow. Big strong fella, as you can see. He definitely has the beating of Kevin Meany in the air, but he showed great strength as well. Oh, a super finish.
Well, despite the best efforts,
They really have to have either Donny Kingston or MJ Tierney or Ross Munley to stay inside in that full forward line, to give the players who win the ball in the middle of the park and out and get it in as fast as they can.
well, at the moment, Kildare have got 13 players inside their own half, and that's the main reason why Laois are taking so much time to get it through. Now, Kingston, he's picked out Donoher, and that's much, much better. They bided their time. They waited patiently for the gap to appear. Good ball from Kingston to pick out the run of Niall Donoher, and he finishes really well. It's back left boot. When it works, it's a joy to watch. Looks like it has. Excellent kick from MJ Tierney, right from the training ground. Very stylish, and they're back to within a single point of Kildare. 25 minutes gone.
Yeah, exactly, and they've both kick scores from outside the 45, and they'll wait their worth in goal, those scores. Nice layoff from Fionn Dowling to Pádraig O'Neill, and O'Neill from St. Lawrence's comes storming through the middle. The same cloth, Mike, and you know, I have to laugh when people talk about Kieran McGeaney as, you know, not a guy with too much humour. In the four walls of the changing room, he's a very humorous guy, and you know, in social circles and amongst his own friends, he's great company. And Kildare and Laois are racing back into their own halves as soon as they lose the ball, setting themselves up defensively, and really making it look like a fine art. Well, there's one way to beat it. Owen O'Flaherty kicking up and over that defensive wall and kicking Kildare into a 2-point lead. Great score, Owen O'Flaherty again. He got a little bit of daylight there, and he took his opportunity when he had it. But as you mentioned, Mike, both teams funneling players back. As Robert Kelly, who's almost playing the role of third midfielder in this first half, links up with Pádraig O'Neill, looking for O'Connor, who's moving into position. Laid off to Callahan, and he has hit that beautifully. Eamon Callahan from Naas. He has been threatening every so often to hit that target. It's his first point of the match, and Kildare finishing this first half with something of a flourish. Yeah, and Eamon Callahan is a guy, certainly is an eye for. So Justin McNulty has shaken things up, and his team have a little under 35 minutes of normal time left to turn this thing around and stay in the championship. Quick hands from O'Connor to the reigning wing back Ollie Lyons. Well, we said Kildare were a second half team, and they have started in real whirlwind fashion. That's a first point. Very short with that free, playing the percentages, and they've lost the ball. Fionn Dowling flicked outside, and that's a really good kick, and that's a cracking score from the Kildare midfielder Hugh Lynch. He just dropped into the pocket, hugging the touchline. Good vision by Fionn Dowling to spot him in the first place, but that is an inspirational point. It's Hugh Lynch's first of the game, and Kildare have stretched their lead. They're now 5 points in front. Yeah, they seem to be surging ahead, and we've mentioned the electric starts that Meany and Laois feeding the runner. That's John O'Loughlin. Pádraig Clancy demanding that the ball be delivered and running into that left-hand channel. Clancy using his power to hold off Gary White, and Pádraig Clancy with the right fist gets Laois's first score of the goal from the penalty spot after 15 minutes, and now he's got a point to go with it. Lovely style of front of the substitute Conor Boyle. Back to Fionn Dowling, and that's a wonderful score from young Fionn Dowling. He's kicked 4 wides in this match, but he hasn't stopped showing. 4 or 5 points in the spin either side at half-time and brought it back to a 2-point game. So they are the side that, you know, when they do go on a bit of a run and kick scores, that they gain confidence and build up a little bit of momentum. And realistically, Mick Foley tracks his run. Nice little change of direction by Kingston.
Laid off by Donoghue to Munnelly. There's that Kildare wall. Quigley kicking over it and kicking it right over the black spot. The first score of the match for Brendan Quigley. And now there are 4 points between them.
Yeah, they're slowly, if they can keep pegging away, as I mentioned earlier on, they're slowly cutting into that Kildare lead. But Kildare are making them work very, very hard for every score. They've been very disciplined in the tackle right again over here on the sideline. They didn't commit themselves to the tackle and made Laois work very, very hard.
145 this summer. Slight breeze at his back. He had yards to spare. Fine kick from Owen O'Flaherty. That's his in the championship 2 years ago. Landed a phenomenal 147 last summer. And he is keeping that scoreboard ticking over. Again, been playing championship football in August since 2006. Fighting for their championship life again tonight. And they have a job of work to do now. Munnelly flicked out to the unmarked Niall Donoghue. Will he take his point? The answer is yes. Slipped over by Donoghue. That's his second point of the match. O'Flaherty. Hugh Lynch. And now Pádraig O'Neill. This time it's Laois's turn to set up that roadblock. Pádraig O'Neill kicks it high. He's caught it beautifully. A second point of the match for Pádraig O'Neill from St. Lawrence's. And that is the bulletproof way of beating the blanket defence.
It's a monster kick. He's actually from well outside the 45-metre line, and there was plenty to spare when it went over the bar as well. And he'd no option inside.
Starting to throw the ball around with confidence. Fionn Dowling. He's in front of Pádraig McMahon. And he does well to reset this move. Owen O'Flaherty. James Kavanagh encouraging him to give it back to Hugh Lynch. He's already kicked one big one, and you can make it two. What a score from Hugh Lynch. Kildare now. And now Johnny Doyle just trying to get his breath back as he sizes up to this free. He's hit a goal and 2 points in the match so far. The goal, a textbook penalty, and nothing wrong with that free either. Johnny Doyle, man who's been...
He's performed admirably here again today, and I'm sure he wouldn't want to leave the park, but certainly if I was a manager, I'd look after mine to the man. But again, Kildare, they break it down. Mick Foley has been phenomenal in full back. You can say no more.
Another superb score from Kildare. And once more, it's Hugh Lynch. That is 3 points from play. Questions that Laois are asking, and they are getting stronger and more assured as this game goes on. Pádraig O'Neill, brilliant ball to pick out Kavanagh. Doesn't break stride. Goal on his mind. And Kavanagh buries it. Well, Kildare are really sending out a statement now. James Kavanagh finishing emphatically, but Pádraig O'Neill left it on a plate for him.
What a pass, yeah, great ball inside, great vision. Kavanagh didn't even have to break strides, took it with him as momentum around the defender, and what a finish. And, you know, he's a proven...
He's gone for it, but it stings the palms of Hugh Lynch and clear it away out of the danger area. And now Eamon Callaghan. Laois now chasing shadows as Kildare throw the ball around and mix things up. Morgan O'Flaherty looking for the run of Tomás O'Connor, but well read by Owen. Touch now, he's getting a round of applause. Linking up with James Kavanagh, playing for a place in the starting 15 in the next round. And with a score like that, I think he might just have caught Kieran McGeeney's eye.
Yeah, the finishing has been outrageous from distance, so certainly they're going to gain an awful lot of confidence on that. Second highest scorer team in the championship last year.
Tomás O'Connor moving in, and in the end he didn't need to get a touch. What a score.
Very difficult to beat.
A little bit of shooting practice here for Johnny Doyle. He's hit a goal and 3 points. And he's just added another one. Kildare's impressive record in the All-Ireland qualifiers goes on. That's 10.
In fairness to Laois, they came at us early and got some great scores on the board, and you know, probably lucky enough to get a penalty, and you know, that sort of kept us in tow early on. But you know, we were definitely on the back foot early on. But in fairness to the lads, they kept plugging away, and you know, Tomas O'Connor was winning ball in there and laying it off, and we just started to chip away, getting the scores. And sometimes a game opens up for you. Against Dublin, them scores weren't going over, and today they did go over.
It's an embarrassment really for us in terms of how we performed. I know the Laois lads didn't do themselves justice, and that's what's hugely disappointing. Kildare, you have to give them huge credit for the way they performed and the hunger and desire they showed all over the park. They probably outperformed us tactically, technically, and every other area in terms of the performance. So there's no crying. They totally outplayed, but I know Laois aren't as bad as we showed tonight, and Kildare probably aren't as good as they showed tonight as well.
Over 7,000 people gathered at Pearse Park in Longford for a delayed throw-in to see if the locals could spring another qualifier surprise. Mayo lost at this venue last year, and Tyrone manager Mickey Hart had to make 5 late changes in personnel after injuries to Martin Swift, David Hart, Kevin Hughes, Brian Dooher and Stephen O'Neill. Longford brought in Francis McGee for the injured Dermot Masterson, but it was the Ulster side which started strongest with a point from Kyle Coney. And they could have been further ahead when the chance fell to Mark Donnelly inside 3 minutes. But Damien Sheridan in the Longford goals brought off the first of 2 high-quality saves. Longford's forward line was one of the reasons they got promoted to Division 3 this year, and Paul Barden and Sean McCormack were in fine form with first-half points. Tyrone trailed by 7 points to 6 at half-time, but that wasn't the fault of their man-of-the-match Peter Hart, who scored 6 points from play and 1 from a free over 70 minutes, and was generally the main tormentor of a Longford backline which still lacks stature. The turning point of the game came within minutes of the restart. Philip Jordan's tenacious run upfield started it. Martin Penrose and Aidan Cassidy had supporting roles, and Mark Donnelly did the rest, finishing with style to the back of the Longford net. Tyrone might have scored another goal shortly afterwards, but Longford fought back in courageous style. And despite the best efforts of Tyrone fullback Joe McMahon, Kilmacud's Crokes clubman Brian Kavanagh put his mark on the match with 3 excellent points. Peter Hart continued to do the damage with skillful scores, but Longford refused to surrender and made it a 3-point game with just 4 minutes left. There were a couple of half chances for the locals, but Tyrone had used the qualifier route for 2 of their 3 All-Ireland wins, and Peter Hart and Tommy McGuigan sealed their victory once again on a final scoreline of 117 to 15 points at Pearse Park.
That goal early in the game, and they got their nose in front. We just couldn't pull them back. They're a great team. They'll go on further this year. Look, I wish them best of luck, but I'm just fierce disappointed again. Another summer ending early.
That's very disappointing, but very proud of the efforts of our players, and they put in a huge effort, but ultimately beaten by a far physically probably stronger and more experienced side.
Glenn says it's too early to talk about the future. Do you think you should stay?
Absolutely. There's no question in the world why Glenn should walk away now. This all going well. This Longford team is only starting on a road. Division 3 next year, we have to attack that, and then we look forward to the championship again. But all going well, this Longford team is only starting on its road to hopefully